Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Present.
Trustee Henson.
Present.
Trustee Horn.
Yes, here.
Trustee Rakes.
Present.
Trustee Wilson.
Present.
Trustee Utris.
Present.
Open to the public, agenda items only. All right, consent agenda, if I can please have a motion to accept with the requested changes to the minutes.
Make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. And moving on to the clerk's report.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Trustee Henson. It's okay.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Utris.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Thank you. Now on to the clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Bogues. I have a couple items for this evening. First will be the swearing in of the new EMA officers.
You guys right here.
Now, it is a long one. If you can raise your right hand, repeat after me, insert your name after I.
I, Ian Barron,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
and bear in true faith
and bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the territory,
and the territory,
institutions,
institutions,
and facilities thereof,
and the facilities thereof,
both public and private,
both public and private,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and I will take
and I will take
this obligation freely
this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter,
which I am about to enter,
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter,
And I do further swear
and I do further swear
that I do not advocate,
that I do not advocate,
nor am I,
nor am I,
nor have I been,
nor have I been,
a member of any political party,
of any political party,
a member of any political party,
a member of any political party
or organization
or organization
that advocates
that advocates
the overthrow of the government
the overthrow of the government
of the United States
of the United States
or of this state
or of this state
by force or violence,
by force or violence,
and that during such time
and during such time
that I am affiliated
that I am affiliated
with the Village of Monee,
with the Village of Monee,
EMA organization,
EMA organization,
I will not advocate,
I will not advocate,
nor become
nor become,
a member of any political party.
will become of any, I'm sorry, repeat that.
I will not advocate,
I will not advocate,
nor become
nor become,
a member of any political party,
of any political party,
a member
a member,
of any political
a
party
member of any political party
or organization
or organization
that advocates
that advocates
the overthrow
the overthrow
of the government
of the government
of the United States
of the United States
or of this state
or of this state
by force or violence.
by force or violence.
Congratulations. Sign that one for me.
You told them that's just the first part.
It's for you. Thank you. Congratulations. I'll move to the side for that picture.
Okay, Dennis, you're up.
All right, if you can. Let's put it here. Right. Okay, if you can please repeat after me, insert your name after I.
I.
do solemnly swear, no, your
Dennis
name.
Calderon,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
and bear true faith
and bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the territory, institutions,
and the territory, institutions,
and facilities thereof,
and facilities thereof,
both public and private,
both public and private,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I take this obligation freely
and I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation, without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of
or
evasion,
purpose of evasion,
and that I do further swear
and I do further swear
that I do not
that I do not
advocate,
advocate,
nor am I,
nor am I,
nor have I been
nor have I been
a member of any political party
a member of any political party
or organization
or organization
that advocates the overthrow of the government
that advocates the overthrow of the government
of the United States
of the United States
or of this state
or of this state
by force or violence,
by force or violence,
and that during such time
and that during such time
I am affiliated
I am affiliated
with the Village of Monee,
with the Village of Monee
EMA organization,
EMA organization.
I will not advocate
I will not advocate
nor become a member
nor become a member
of any political party
of any political party
or organization
or organization
that advocates
that advocates
the overthrow of the government
the overthrow of the government
of the United States
of the United States
or of this state
or of this state
by force or violence.
by force or violence.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're one of us.
Sit to the side.
Board, just real quick, with the addition of Dennis and Ian, that brings the Monee EMA membership to 19. Both of them come with a lot of education, so it won't be long before we see them on the street. Thank you.
Moving on with my report, I did receive an email from the Will County Clerk's office in regards to the April 1st consolidated election. So due to the February 25th, 2025 consolidated primary, the Will County Clerk's office will be delaying the start of early voting and mailing vote by mail. Please share, of course, this information. I've been making sure I'm going to put that out for everyone to know. The first day to request vote by mail ballot was January 2nd. The sample ballots will be made available no earlier than March 12th. Early voting access will start in Will County on March 17th, and all vote by mail ballots will be mailed on March 17th. Also, I don't know if you've been keeping tabs, but our Creek Monee kids throughout the entire district have been doing an awesome job with all their activities, their performances, as well as their sports. But one I did have to make sure I highlighted was giving a congratulations to Nathaniel Wiley Harrigan, who is currently ranked #1 trumpet player in all of Illinois. End of report.
Clerk Kojo, where will early, excuse me, where will early voting be located at?
So the early voting locations that they had right now are at Governor State University, as well as at the University Park Library.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Under my report, first off, since we've shuffled buildings between ourselves and the Village Hall and brought Parks and Rec over here to where they've got room to do their jobs, we should probably come up with a new name for this building other than Old Village Hall. So I am open for suggestions. I'm thinking since we're in the Fireman's Park complex, if we can go that far, Fireman Parks and Recreation Administration Center, I'm certainly open to any, ideas anybody's got.
Well, since
So-
it's Fireman's Park, we could call this battalion headquarters.
There you go.
Do we want to keep it separate from Fireman's Park so people aren't coming over here for events? Would we rather call it just Parks and Rec Administration? Building?
We could do
Or
that, too.
offices and,
Sure.
so people, yeah, like I said, so people won't coming over here for events.
So Parks and Recreation,
Department Administration. Park-
Or administration.
Parks and Rec Administration Building.
Parks and Recreation Department Administration Building?
I guess technically Village of Monee Parks and Rec Administration Building.
We don't want to spend the whole budget on a sign.
We'd need a much bigger sign to put all that on there, right?
okay, so, yeah, consensus on Parks and Rec Administration Building,
Yes.
okay. And then we'll-
Chuck? I'm sorry, trustee Rakis. Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
yes,
Okay.
yes, okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next, under my report is discussion approval of Will County Historic Preservation Commission, Village of Monee Intergovernmental Agreement. So this is regarding St. Boniface. Will County has received a landmark application for St. Boniface Church. In order for the Will County Historic Preservation Commission to landmark this residence, we need an intergovernmental agreement from the Village of Monee, since the property is within village limits. So that's what the ask is tonight, and I do hear that the Land Use Department will also soon be receiving a landmark nomination for St. Paul's. So I think that's incredible. I know we've got Kathy Dornhecker here and Christy Holston. They've both been very active in getting these landmark nominations. So I would like, if you guys would not mind, approving the intergovernmental agreement.
Do you need a
I'll make
motion
that
for that?
motion.
Yes, please.
Second.
I'll second.
Yeah. Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
And does anybody have any questions for the two ladies, since they are here, regarding this?
Well, I guess the foresight for doing this, for both of those, is amazing. So congratulations to both of you for even recognizing that. And then secondly, just to be clear then, the IGA would be between Will County Preservation District and the Village of Monee, not the churches themselves, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for all that work. I'm not sure what all goes into it, but I'm sure it is a lot. So, yeah, if you want to come up and expound on that a little bit.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the Will County Historic Preservation Commission is, I'm on that board, and we meet once a month in Joliet. And one of our sole purpose, basically our sole purpose, is to identify and recognize landmarks within the county. And mostly we're in charge of things that are outside of municipalities. However, when we have historic, something that's of historic note within the villages, we need the intergovernmental agreement. And so since we've been working on it, this is the fourth and fifth, this will be the fourth and fifth landmarks within the Village of Monee, which is pretty special when you consider that a lot of the villages in the county don't have any landmarks at all. So we're starting to try to work on those as well, but it's a testament, I think, to our village that we're paying attention to these kind of things and making sure that we're not only being progressive in the future, but we're also recognizing our past. To be a landmark property, you have to state why it's significant, both architecturally and from a historic perspective. And so We've done a lot of research. Kathy did a whole lot on St. Boniface, and we've done a lot on the history of St. Paul's, and that's a great thing, too, so that we have that history recorded for future, and all that history will be reposited in the Heritage Center as well. So we'll be able to read that, and hopefully we'll be able to have some information on the website and in the paper, so everybody can read that, and we'll have some big celebrations coming along in the summer when we do get the landmark designation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate all the hard work. All right, that's it for my report. Moving on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. We have two presentations tonight. The first is the owners of Quality Inn and Super 8, Payal Patel and Sono Grati. If you'd come forward, please. Over the last few months, Bill Barnes and I and Attorney Gruszewski have met with both of them to discuss their projects and what they'd like to do and what they've been doing. And without further ado, Payal, Sono, it's all yours.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just give us a minute. I think we've met with some of you and not all of you, but it's nice seeing you all in person today. All right, so I guess as owners of Super 8 and Quality Inn and Monee, I stand before you today. I stand before you today to share a vision with you all to transform the two Monee hotels into more of a premier destination and, foster vibrant community engagement and offer exceptional experiences for our corporate groups and workers that, generate our revenue on a day-to-day basis. Our hotels will be recognized in the future eventually for their outstanding hospitality, innovative amenities, and unwavering commitment to, creating memorable and enriching stays for every guest that stays here. Today, that is not the case, and I cannot say that with confidence, but, we've worked very hard over the past 18 months that we've acquired the properties to change that and make it more of a fruitful experience for the guests that stay at our hotels, and some of the stats that we'll be sharing with you all will give you an insight onto the changes that we've made and, the increase in our LTR scores, the likelihood to recommend scores and things like that that have helped us reach our goals. So to turn this vision into a reality, I am here to seek TIF assistance, and this crucial support will not only help overcome the current obstacles, but also pave the way for an unparalleled transformation for both of the properties. And the statistics will showcase the significant progress that's been made to some of our rooms, and we're excited to, share that glimpse with you all here today. And before getting into that, I just want to, share the obstacles, such as the financial considerations. When we purchased the properties, obviously, with the economy going in the direction that it was, the rates were quite high, and, the interest rate was impacting our overall budget. The exceptionally high insurance premiums were posing financial strains because the hotel industry after COVID took a really big hit, and there are so many insurance companies out there that are not actually providing insurances to hotel industry. So, there has been, compared to last year to this year, there has been maybe like almost 120% increase in the premiums. So that has taken away from us putting a lot of our profitability and our capital into renovations versus covering these expenses. Apart from that, when we took over the property from previous owners, they had neglected it in a sense where they were absent owners, where I'm more hands-on on day-to-day basis. So with that being said, the properties had been, they've been outdated with the interior designs and the paint work that needs to be done, the windows, just a lot of room noise, a lot of the wind noise coming in through the room, into the rooms, disturbing the guest stay. The worn out flooring, the guest corridors, they need a little bit of improvement in terms of the wall area and stuff like that. We've done as much as we can, but obviously it's not sufficient to make us into a more modern and competitive property as the properties around us are. Apart from that, parking lot, landscaping, things like that, the building stucco, they're showing significant wear and tear and degradation that needs significant amount of work. The swimming pool, we had a pipe burst last year in January of 2024, and that is still ongoing. We just had our roof replaced above the swimming pool just yesterday, which was not covered through insurance, unfortunately, and that was a big expense out of pocket. The roof required a lot of urgent repairs that were, I guess, needed to be completed in order for us to work on the rest of the pool area. In addition to that, after we took over the properties, we've made sure that safety protocols and industry standard practices were in place. So for example, like for laundry and the linen services and things like that, we've made sure Ecolab products are being used. And then that just meets the high hygiene standards requested by the brand. Apart from that, regular maintenance and inspections, so monthly pest control services are in place to avoid any issues, ensure like a pest-free environment. We have quarterly elevator maintenance that's done through Otis that comes in and provides services for that. We have daily spot treatment. We have daily inspections post-checkout and before renting the room. So in case if a guest says that, something happened to them after checking into the room, we know that we've checked that room post somebody else staying there and after housekeeping cleaning it. Apart from that, there's periodic deep cleaning that takes place as needed. Mainly it happens quarterly, but if somebody has stayed there for a longer period of time, we don't wait for the quarterly inspection. And then when it comes to the pool, I went out and got the certified pool operator certification just so I can make sure that on a day-to-day basis I can maintain the equipments and do the testing that's required. We are looking into installing the automatic pool chemical dispenser, so that would help us maintain the pool chemistry on a daily basis and help us adjust whatever chemicals that are needed. Addition to that, we are also looking to install ID scanners that will help us improve the guest identification, and it'll help us improve the security of like people that are checking in. If they're like on a do not rent list at another hotel, that data would be shared with us. So that would help us, ensure that we're not renting the rooms to someone that shouldn't be rented to. We're also looking to upgrade our lock system for more enhanced security and the safety of our clients as well. And then going back to our LTR score, as you can see, when we first acquired the property, we were at 5.71, and we've worked our way up to 6.59, which is about 88.88 up from where we were before. Usually in the 7 range, when you reach there, you automatically start getting an improved clientele and things like that. So that's just the industry standard on how they view the LTR scores as, and we're very close to it. This is a breakdown of the LTR score by different categories. The check-in experience, the overall staff experience, the cleanliness of the rooms, the maintenance and the condition, and the food and beverage, as well as like safety, security, and overall property condition. So as you can see, like the maintenance and the condition requires some more work, which will help us get to our 7 where we need. And then we've also started offering additional like food items where there's like more variations of like our muffins or bagels, the cereals, and things like that. So that's helped us quite a bit. Coming down to the strengths, obviously it's quite self-explanatory here. Just the front desk friendliness, the housekeeping services, the noise level. Everyone tends to say that it's very quiet around here now, so they get to sleep before they go to work and whatnot. So we're getting good reviews around that. But the improvement areas, again, are the swimming pool. It's our biggest hit. You can see the 23.9% negative score there. The bathrooms, we have partially renovated them, but some of our tubs definitely require a lot more work. The work that we've done helps the walls, but the plumbing work and the tub repairs and stuff that needs to happen, that's still ongoing. The room odor is there mainly because of the carpets, and once we replace that with LVT flooring, that should really help us alleviate a lot of that odor there. This is our current occupancy, ADR, and the RevPAR here. So as you can see, last year in December, we were at about 67.2 for our occupancy, but it went down by 9% this past year. And then with the ADR, we were up by $2.50 compared to 2023. And our RevPAR was down by about $7.30 due to that, since they go hand in hand.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What does ADR stand for and the RevPAR?
So the ADR is the average daily rate.
Okay.
So it's basically calculated based on how many rooms are sold and, how many rooms were occupied. The occupancy represents that, and then the RevPAR is the revenue that's per available room.
Okay, thank you.
So based on all of these renovations that I'm going to show you that we're planning to do, we are hoping to increase our occupancy to at least a minimum of 80% or higher. The ADR should be around $90 or so per day, and then that would increase our RevPAR to $72 depending on that occupancy rate. And as of now, our projected renovation cost comes out to about $3.35 million. And in addition to that, we've already spent over $1.1 million in repairs and acquisition and other soft costs that are generated.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yes, sir.
That number, 3.35, and you said you spent 1.1. A complete, this is just a question.
Yes.
Would a complete demo be better than just rehabbing the facility?
Technically, everything that we've proposed in here will almost be very close to the complete demo. Only thing that we won't be removing is our walls, but like all the plumbing work would be redone. All of the flooring would be redone. The wallpapers would come off of the walls. We would skim coat it and then, paint over it so it would refresh the walls, because the health of the drywall is not bad. So there's no point in adding additional cost to that. And then I think that's about it. And then some of the things, like the material cost nowadays has just gone up significantly along with the labor cost. So that kind of adds up to a lot of that cost, where I guess it's not, I wouldn't want to demo it, because then the framing would have to go up and then we'd have to redo all the fire. We'd have to, redo the sprinkler system and all the smoke detectors and all of that. And that would add on to the cost of this. And all of that is intact.
When did you guys purchase these?
June 29th of 2023.
Were these problems unforeseen when you purchased or when you purchased it and these were something that came up later or just got old, or how did these things come to be?
It kind of went hand in hand. So part of it was obviously neglection from the previous owners. They didn't really put into the basic maintenance that was even required. And some of it is because the property is equally old. We didn't expect that it would be to this extent, but then what happened is, like, when we first purchased the property and we had done the inspections, everything was covered by like bandages, technically you can say. And then as we started going room by room and we started renting the rooms, you would start coming across new issues on daily basis, and then you would start seeing the guests complaining. And some of the clientele that they had rented out the rooms to were staying there for like 3+ years or so, and those rooms were never ever gone into. And at this point, our occupancy did take a hit because we are not serving clients for that long, because we're trying to serve more corporate clients or someone who's actually in need of housing. Like if people are having problems with their house because it got flooded or it caught on fire and insurance covering for them, it's something different versus someone who's actually seeking for a long-term shelter. So a lot of that was like an add-on to these problems. And when we purchased the property, we didn't actually get an opportunity to see those rooms, because if the rooms were occupied, like, we weren't allowed to go in there and see them.
Oh, you're not allowed to go in and look at something?
From what the owners had mentioned, and even during the due diligence, like if it's just invading the guest privacy, unfortunately, so we didn't see a lot of that.
Sound like they bait and switched you a little bit. Thank you.
So as of right now, what you're telling me is we're at 3.3. You've put 1.1 into it, so you're at 4.4 on the property.
Correct.
Okay. And you said that was plumbing, flooring, pool, walls with the drywall was good, and that would update everything throughout the whole facility?
No,
Each-
so then that also doesn't include the exterior, the parking lot, the furniture that we would be replacing with the newer furnitures, the windows, the exterior of the building, the gas furnaces, the security camera system, and the lock system.
Okay, and that's 3.35 for both or for one?
One.
Thank you. Do you have a number on the other one by chance? Okay.
It's all right. So then, basically, our plans to increase the revenue upon completion of the renovation, we're hoping that it'll be more modernized and, it'll help us compete against our properties in the nearby areas, since they're also upgrading. Local business partnerships, I think, with the previous owners, we've lost a lot of those relationships. I know some people that would stop by, it's more of like hearsay where they would say that, they go to Matson or they go to somewhere in Tinley Park because they didn't like the way the property was, or they didn't feel safe, or whatever the case is, because people were, doing whatever they were doing in the parking lot. So a lot of that, as you can tell, like, if you were to speak to our police department, they can probably vouch for that, you don't see a lot of riffraff out there. You don't see a lot of 911 calls from our properties anymore. All of that, you've seen a significant reduction in. In addition to that, we plan to engage with the Chamber of Commerce. We recently joined the Chamber of Commerce last year, and I've been working with Lee very closely. So, I'm planning to engage more with them to grab the future business that would be coming into town. Additionally, we get a lot of requests for weddings and wedding parties, family reunions, and things like that. So we want to be more out there and, do a little bit more marketing so we can attract those family reunion groups and then the wedding groups, any corporate groups that are driving by or looking for other options there. We're also planning to enhance the digital marketing to boost our online visibility to help us improve the revenue and reach the broader audience there. So then getting into the visuals, this is what the current property looks like right now. The pictures don't do justice to the kind of damage or the repairs that's required, but I'm sure if you guys drive by, you'll be able to get a closer view as to where some of the nitty-gritty is and where the areas can be improved. So currently this is the color from the outside, and some of the stucco needs repairing, and then once the windows are replaced and whatnot, this is what the future colors would look like. And then this gray area that you see here, we're going to do some stonework there to give it a little bit more enhancement and the bulkiness to the building. This is what the lobby used to look like in the past, and then with the previous owners did put in a little bit, not the previous owners, but the owners before them did change it from when they changed from Best Western to Quality, and they made some basic changes here. But then when we came in, we had to do a lot of polishing of the cabinets and the furniture and the flooring and things like that. So currently this is what the new lobby looks like after a few touch-ups and stuff like that. Our pool this is what it looked like, but then after the sprinkler burst last year, the entire pool is kind of demoed, and the new pool is under construction right now as we speak, and the colors will be updated, and then the tiling here that's white, that will all be replaced. So that's why this gray doesn't really represent the stone, but it's going to be like a gray-white marble type of stone. This is the current picture of the guest rooms, and this is the new guest room. So you can see a significant difference, very modern, very easy to clean for guests, quite accessible too. This is the bathrooms in the past where you see all the wallpapers. There were significant issues behind these wallpapers. So we had gotten rid of all the drywall in all 44 bathrooms, and then we replaced it and repainted it. But then that still does not resolve our problem with the tubs. I don't know if you can see right here, all the tubs are peeling because they've been, just painted over and whatnot. So some of them are starting to crack, and some of them are just leaving this, and guests just tends to think that, it's just a bad tub and you just get bad reviews for it, so we'll have to eventually replace them. And the ones that we did replace, we're replacing them with steel tubs, so that way, you know, these are the fiberglass ones, that way they don't crack or anything. Oops. So this is what the new bathroom looks like compared to the previous one. The wallpaper is replaced, and then the tub surrounds are replaced with tiles, basically. And then the older windows the window treatments versus the new window treatments to align with the new furniture that we'll be replacing with.
So there's new heating and AC units in these as well?
Yes, sir. So one thing that we found out as well with the existing AC units is that when they were purchased by the previous owners, they didn't take into account that the number of BTUs would impact the humidity issue in the room. So some of the rooms have bigger ACs, some of them have smaller ACs, and that's kind of causing a reverse effect on the humidity, which is also causing some of the smell. So the new ACs that I've purchased so far that we had to replace immediately, those we had considered and taken account for the humidity, so we calculated that and we made sure that it was like at least 9,000 BTUs to avoid that issue. And then moving on to Super 8. Sorry, did you guys have any questions on quality before I move on?
Do you know what year your building was actually built?
Quality Inn was built in 2000, and Super 8 was built in 1999, from what I'm being told. And then, so moving on to Super 8, very similar issues that I had mentioned. You know, like I said, like the first 6 months of owning these properties, the previous owners had close to $50,000 in unpaid vendor bills that we constantly had service interruptions for, and I had to constantly come in every day in the morning and try to reach out to Comcast or ComEd or Nicor and try to make sure that, you know, they're changing over the corporations, because what happened is the bills were under 2 owners ago, not even the person that I actually purchased it from. He never even updated it from the prior owner. So whenever I would call these companies, they wouldn't even be able to verify that it was the person that I was referring to that I bought the property from. So a lot of time was spent and wasted on that, while I could have spent that time into, you know, improving and growing our business. But unfortunately, that was a very big setback for us. And then at Super 8, in addition to, you know, the outdated interior and the worn out bathrooms and things like that, the building is not so accessible. We don't have an elevator in that building, and that is one of the things I think we need in today's day and age, just to make sure that people are able to carry their stuff upstairs or, you know, just maneuver around the building as needed. So that's one thing that we have proposed in this renovation, that we would like to add an elevator. And if possible, we would also like to extend the west side of our building to have a pool over there as well. And then same safety protocols and everything that I had mentioned earlier just goes hand in hand. Anything that we do with one property, we do that with both. It's just easier and more sustainable for us, because usually if one property is sold out, the overflow goes to the other property. So we kind of just make sure that it's always a similar look and feel there. Same thing here with the overall guest satisfaction score. We're at, you know, we increased it by 0.76 points compared to the previous year. The net promoter score was up by 9.95 points compared to the previous year as well. Yes, sir. Oh, you said bless you, sorry. The cleanliness score has increased here with our deep cleaning and everything in place by 0.29 points compared to the previous year as well. The ADR here, the occupancy was 58.9% after removing our long-term stays, and then the ADR was still maintained at least, and it improved by $5.50. and the RevPAR did go down by $12.90.
I have a question. What is your percentage of your building that are long-term stays? Normally, do you cap out at a certain amount, or is it just what it's going to be?
So it really varies, right? So at the moment, we don't cap out at a certain percentage, but the type of clientele that we get, they're regular guests. And they would check out at 11 a.m. today, but then check back in later at 3 p.m. again the same day. So you couldn't really just tell that they were staying there for like 3 years continuously. There were some rooms like that in the past, but with the way that the work that we've done, we allowed them to check in every day if they want to, but they just can't be like permanent residents of our building there on a daily basis.
Thank you.
I think just personal business security in a way, because in the past, I believe there had been issues with evictions and whatnot, because we have the 30-day rule where, you know, if they're in the building for more than 30 days, then they're technically considered tenants, and then we can't remove them and whatnot. So just working closely with the police and listening to them and their concerns and how, you know, the other hotels were maneuvering, we kind of just came up with something like that to save ourselves and also save the hassle.
That was why I asked that question, Heidi, was the duration and what she just answered.
Yeah, and then when they check in, we try to make sure we don't give them the same room every day as well. The room number is different, so then that way we can also maneuver around that issue. And then again, the projected ADR here and occupancy and RevPAR, 80% occupancy is expected or more. The ADR is going to be around $85, and then RevPAR would be $68 per available room. And then our projected renovation cost here, including our elevator and the swimming pool and everything, comes out to about $2.77 million. And of that, we have already spent close to $976,000, or $1,076,000.
So it's 2.77 left that you still need, or?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And then going into the pictures, this is what Super 8 currently looks like with no renovations at all on the exterior. This is the proposed structure. It's a significant change here, but what we'll do to keep the costs low is we won't try to square it out completely as it's showing in here. We'll try to take the colors and, you know, try to match the color scheme here, because there's no point of trying for us trying to remove the peaks and then make it a square and just spend that money. I think there's no purpose for that. So the color scheme will definitely align with what we're going to do with what this looks like. This is what the previous lobby used to look like, and this is what the current lobby looks like now. A lot of the ceiling area with the popcorn ceilings, they need a lot of help. So I think in this building specifically, we need to take down all the ceilings and then redo them, because it's, yeah. The entire building at Super 8 has popcorn in every corner. And this is the guest room currently, and this is what the cleaner look would look like with the new guest room furniture. And this is what the previous bathrooms looked like, as you can see. And this is what we did recently, just a few weeks ago, with tiles and everything there. It really varies. Some of them it's rooms, some of them it's bathrooms. Wherever we saw the repairs needed to be done urgently and we couldn't wait, we had done that. But we have done about, when it comes to painting, we've painted all the rooms and all the bathrooms. But then when it comes to renovation, I think we need to go back and redo a lot of it.
So the ones, it's not like the ones that you've renovated, so not like.
For example, this one, we wouldn't touch it again.
So, but like new room, or like the guest room part and new bathroom, or like new guest room and bathroom isn't touched yet?
Right, so it's one or the other.
So there is, some rooms, like the beautiful bathroom and the guest part of it.
It's not touched, no, yeah. We did touch it up with paint, just to give it a fresher look, because all the walls were white and they used to have so many stains and stuff on it. So we kind of turned it into grays and like the newer modern looking shades. So in case if we, in the future, if we need to change the brand or anything, it would still align with like modern look.
And I think this is going to be my last question. Due to my ignorance with this and a franchise situation, is there assistance from either one of Quality Inn or Super 8 that they allow you?
What sort of assistance? Funding-wise?
Yes,
Unfortunately, no. All they care about is their money.
I understand. Thank you.
So when you purchased these, you knew nothing of the condition of them? You knew some of the condition of them, or all?
So my family has a deep background in the hospitality industry, and as we run our businesses, like, we know that normal wear and tear is expected. It's always going to be there. When we looked at a lot of these rooms, they seem to be fine, but then when you get into it on day-to-day basis, and then you realize how many bandages were put on top of these things just for a visual, and then you don't really know what's behind those walls and whatnot, that's where we ran into this problem.
Oh, I thought there were people who inspected it for you or what have you beforehand.
There
and
was an
everything.
appraisal done, there were inspections done, but then again, I'm not sure what was missed during those inspections or anything that led to something this extensive.
Yeah, with me, I guess it's in my brain that you spend several $1 million. You'd want to
Yeah, and
look a little bit deeper into it. But
and like I said, like, the time where the rooms were heavily occupied. Like, if you look at the occupancy rate from when we purchased the property, they were almost at 80 to 85%. But that was because of all these long-term stays. And so we couldn't get into those rooms at that time.
all right, thank you.
Yes.
Question for you, right over here. Hi.
Sorry. Hi.
So there is a dearth of 3-star hotels in this area. What would it take to convert one of these properties to a 3-star versus a 2-star?
Almost double this amount, considering today's cost and whatnot. And as much as I would love to, like, I had been even talking to Bill in the past that, if once these 2 hotels are floating, I would consider bringing a 3-star hotel in the area. But
No, like, not converting the work that you're gonna be doing on these 2 hotels to make it a 3-star, or you're totally missing the boat here. To
No,
look at
that's
the
a-
ratings to go up.
No, I'm talking about a 3-star, there's 2-star.
so
These are 2-star hotels,
Right. For the
considered
brand,
2-star,
brand.
branding,
yeah.
making one a 3-star. And you're saying it would double your cost. What additional costs, I'm curious, would you need to?
So at that point, I think it would require a full demo, because then we would, the 3-star hotels would require like a conference room, a meeting room, a nice lobby area,
Okay.
things like that. We only have 2 stories, and I have no space to accommodate that. So that's why it would require a full demo for us to bring that on the first floor with all the amenities, and then the
Okay.
other 2 floors would have the rooms.
Do you have any 3-stars in your portfolio?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
What about taking down both of them?
I wish. I wish. Wishful thinking. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have here today, and I really appreciate your time here and consideration, and I would request if the board can move forward with the redevelopment agreement here, and, maybe potentially proceed with the TIF assistance.
What would be your total for both?
Total for both, 3 and 2, close to 6.
I got
almost.
6.12 roughly, right?
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
no problem.
Larry? With TIF, it's mainly horizontal surfaces and outside and, and stuff like that, yes? I mean,
This is somewhat of
Does-
an
does
unusual
majority of
request.
this fall
I've
under
been
TIF?
involved in 3 or 4 of them with other hotels, and it's a little more in-depth than what you respectfully presented. There's got to be some serious negotiations, because some of this is not TIF eligible. There's no way, like paint.
Understood.
No.
But what about like the exterior then?
What I'll do for the boards and the mayor's review is a previous redevelopment agreement that we did for another major hotel group to show you how it's a little more detailed, ma'am.
Okay.
You know, because a lot of this, I would say, would be building in equity into your property. You know, and the TIF is supposed to entice the developer to come in, like the Vortman Group, to build. You've already built.
Right.
You know, and so your request is reasonable, don't get me wrong, but there's a little more work, a little more detail that we need.
Understood.
Administrator Batista, do we still have the ATF thing going on, and does this fall underneath that as far as, it
No,
doesn't, does it?
It does not.
Okay, no, it's not alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, it's, all right. Because I was looking at maybe that, but.
So with that, I thank you very much for your presentation. I
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
For all the hard work that you guys have put in this project so far. We're grateful. So I would ask for a motion to approve Attorney Kraszewski and I to move forward into negotiations with the redevelopment agreement and discuss this project further with Ms. Payel, Mr. Grady, and then we report back to the board.
So
moved.
you're asking for
Motion to approve to
move
proceed.
forward to talk with
proceed.
them, okay.
For discussions, yes.
Second.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Thank you, board. Okay, next up is Ben Morale with Vortman Steel. And we've been talking a lot about Vortman around the village over the last few months. And Ben has a presentation to share with us. And Ben, the floor is all yours.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your
Good
attention.
evening.
You can hear me okay, right? Yes. All right, so I'm just going to give everybody a little bit of an overview of who Vortman is and what we want to do. So the intention is to set up Vortman USA headquarters here in Monee, Illinois. This is just about the first phase, which requires us to develop the entire 27.4 acres with the intention to put 4 additional buildings on top of this. So the initial expansion is going to be a 20,000 square foot modern office building, which will have the ability to expand further off of the back of it as well. It's built into the plans. And about a 90,000 square foot warehouse building. And it's on Ridgeland Avenue, just across the street from the Amazon building. So this is just a rendering of what we are putting up. A little bit of an overview of Vortman Steel Machinery. So the company is based out of the Netherlands and does about $350 million in revenue annually, over 600 employees worldwide. I don't have this in the slide, but Vortman USA is a little bit over 100 million, and really it's about 50% of the total production of the factory at this point. So what we want to do at the new manufacturing facility is produce the material handling that's associated with the machines. So that's about 17% of our overall revenue. So approximately $60 million in revenue will go into producing roller conveyors and transfers that will be getting shipped domestically, Canada, Mexico, and worldwide. So we'll have a combination of flatbeds and containers leaving the facility with this in here. Last year, it equated to about 7 miles of material handling, if that kind of puts it into context. So, a little bit of a history of the company. Started as a steel construction company back in 1968. In 78, they started making machines as well, kind of modifying existing machines, split off into Vortman Steel Construction, Vortman Steel Machinery. 2005, Vortman USA was established by my father. It was just him in his kitchen, and he's grown it to what we are today with the collaboration of Mark Vortman. In 2023, Mark Vortman, the sole owner of the group, he decided to sell the construction side. None of his legacy wanted to take over that side of the business, so he sold that to another fabricator, and is doubling down now on the structural steel machinery and the software associated with it. So being that we are now 50% of the total factory output, it's important that, you know, he starts developing more over here in the United States.
I have one quick question for you. In the development of this, when you're going through with this, what is your potential growth after, if something like what you're trying to do here is done, that you would have to build onto after that in the future, say 5-10 years down the road?
So to put it into context, the organization chart just for the new warehouse, regardless of the new office employees we hire, is about 62 people. So we're looking at adding just 60 million in the first phase, and depending on what we want to add from a machine building standpoint or what components of it we want to make, that it would mean that we'd have more square footage under roof over here than we do in the Netherlands based off of our 4-phase plan here. So it could be double. I mean, you know.
I understand why this is happening, at least in my mind, I think I do, which is why I asked how much bigger you would have to get here if we would have the ability to account for that space. That's why I asked. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, and a big part of the growth too is insourcing. Throughout our growth of our history, we've been sending out part of our production to other suppliers. Now it's bringing it back in, so we have more control over it. So that's why we need more square footage as well.
Thank you.
This is just an image to give you a bit of a reference of where we have our warehouses, service, and support. So you can see there's a heavy focus in Europe, Australia, and the United States. The core industries that we serve are steel fabrication, steel distribution centers, steel processing centers, heavy equipment and machine manufacturers, offshore energy, and processing equipment, so like oil refiners and other processes like that. So just another quick project overview, 20,000 square feet. Should be able to accommodate about 80 staff members in the first phase of that. And the 90,000 square foot building will have a showroom for bringing customers from all over the country, possibly Europe as well, to see the machines, just kind of get an idea of what they look like. But primarily it's for training. So when we sell these machines, customers have operators that we train on site, part of the process. However, there's always turnover in those positions, so they're looking for a cost-effective way to train their employees by sending them somewhere for a week rather than us sending one of our highly skilled guys out on site, which costs probably double or triple of what we could do it for at our facility. So we're going to have a lot of people coming through for training. And we're going to have the manufacturing of the material handling, as I said earlier, and then we'll continue to grow our parts and consumable sales. So any machine that I sell, I'll give a guarantee it's going to break. So you got to sell the parts and have the service to back it up.
Question for you real quick. How many employees are you talking about here at this location?
So in the office, so we currently have 67 employees for Voltman USA. Not all of them work in the office. We have a lot of field service technicians, installation people, things like that.
Are these people you brought with you, or these are the people that have been here and trained at the other place and everything?
Correct, yes. Yeah, so it's all existing through our natural growth over here. For the new warehouse, the organization chart currently shows 62 people will be added into that warehouse. That'll be right around the end of 2028. We'll hit that capacity.
62 on top of the 67 that you have now?
Yeah, and then we'll reach 80 in the inside the office.
And
as well.
what percentage of those would be like hiring from the area?
Hopefully 95%.
Okay.
So it's local.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. The property history to date used to be Rainbow Farms. It was essentially a family mulch farm. I put a question mark. I don't know how long I couldn't find that. But 2022, we purchased it. It's actually 3 lots. Currently, 2 of the lots are part of TIF 5. 1 lot is part of TIF 3. So we purchased land in 22. We got rezoned in April of 23 to an L1 light manufacturing, and we finalized the construction plans in 2024. The general concept. In September, we broke ground. There's a nice picture of that day. And we expect the construction to be complete around January of '26. Obviously, we can't just start manufacturing right away. We have to ramp up, so we just put Q1, we'll start ramping up that. We're already designing all the stuff from European spec to United States spec, so it's all going to be purchased locally. Just to give you an idea of where we are, so subject property is up to the left. So it's the 3 lots sitting right there. It's just across the street from the Amazon facility, Ridgeland, south of Manhattan Monee Road. An idea of what the total layout will look like. So as I said, it's 27.4 acres. The detention has been sized for developing the entire property. So it doesn't look like it when you walk out there, but there's an 18-foot grade from the east side to the west side of the property. So there's a lot of dirt work that's had to be done, and Matt Lead has been great. Working with him as a neighbor, he's given us the soil that he didn't need from his retention ponds. So we put that to good use on our property. It's going to be fully landscaped with a walking path around the pond, so it's a nice place for our employees to hang out. We want them to feel good there. Again, repeating myself, 20,000 square foot office space, 90,000 square foot building. A little bit about the building. We'll have one dock. We won't be getting a lot of daily deliveries. It's going to be kind of just UPS and FedEx on a daily basis. Once or twice a week, we'll get a steel delivery from Sugar Steel, which is out of Chicago Heights, and then a maximum of 3 truckloads a week out of this current facility, leaving for, well, let's say on average 3 truckloads a week, leaving for U.S. customers and international customers. So the 6 overhead doors, we'll only utilize the 3 on the back for now, but just for flexibility in the future, we've got doors on the front as well. Now, as you can see, I listed where Phase 2, Phase 4, and Phase 3 and Phase 4 will go, and those will duplicate that warehouse building. The project team, so Vortman USA, we're using all local businesses, mostly kind of out of the Kankakee area, PSI General Contractors, Piggish Engineering, Bright and BLDD for the architectural services, IMEG for all the electrical, we've got Geocon for the geotechnical environmental, and Spaceco for the Alta survey, and then we have a local law firm, and Chicago Title. So economic benefits. U.S. hub to bring customers from all over the world to get machinery demonstrations on the newest technology, drive traffic to local hospitality, there's no doubt about that. Training facilities for machinery operators, maintenance staff, and collaborate with local schools. So, like I said, 99% of these positions need to come locally. While there are some remedial positions, many of them will require some education, and we want to work with the local universities to develop those programs to at least gear them to what we want to go towards and have kind of a quasi-internship program. Customer remote support, so that's a big part of what we do out of our current facility. Machine breaks, customers having a problem, they call us, we help them, we can get onto their machine, help them remotely, either fix it with some settings, some over-the-phone training, or we can identify the part and send it to them by UPS. Warehouse, we're going to be, we have replacement components and consumables, so we get about 10% growth out of that year over year. And as a result, our stocking staff, like a year ago, we had really 1 full-time employee that could kind of manage it. We have 3 back there right now, if that kind of gives you an idea. And then the manufacturing of Vortman conveyors, machinery, transport systems for our global customer base. So it's a whole new team of machine operators, fabricators, and material handling staff that'll be in that facility. So next steps. So as I said, we're on 2 older TIFs on 3 different lots. So just moving to see if we could negotiate a new TIF agreement.
You kind of touched on it a bit about your partnerships with local businesses and universities. Can you speak some about the partnerships with the local universities?
Yeah, so it's not currently active, but we've already started talking to like Reggie Greenwood and his group, for example. We show up to the open houses that they have where you can come and present your business to students, kids coming out of school. So once we are closer to that point, we'll have all the job descriptions, and we'll see like, hey, these are the technical abilities that we need. These could be for people that are just getting out of high school. These could be for developed people, or these could be for existing employees that that just need some touch-up education. Maybe they're missing some background knowledge that would help round out their role.
Could you share with us maybe a couple of your largest suppliers or customers?
Customers, so most of them are structural steel fabricators and steel service centers. So Reliance Group is the largest steel distribution service center group in the United States. They have something like 220 facilities across the U.S. Locally, Sugar Steel belongs to Reliance Group. In Marseilles, there's Infometals, which actually manages a larger group that covers all the way from New England down to Florida, Texas. It's a huge group. That one company accounts for anywhere between 5 and 10% of our overall revenue year over year, and which means they're growing in sales with us because obviously our sales numbers have gone up. But yeah, so it's not big name brands that you will have heard of, but so like W&W is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, and they've got 3 really large systems going in from us, WW AFCO. Yeah, so those are some of the bigger companies.
Sir, can I ask you 2 questions?
Yes.
Would there be a point of sale in Monee? Do you sell products out of Monee?
So the actual material handling will be part of an order, but yes, that's a taxable thing.
So it'll be in Monee?
Yeah, leaving Monee.
Thank you.
Yep.
The second question is, you have agreement with Seafried. Would Seafried sign the redevelopment agreement or Vortman?
Vortman.
Vortman?
Yeah.
So we'd be negotiating with Vortman, not Seafried, right?
Yeah. Is that, Seafried? No, we have
Yeah.
nothing to do with Seafried. No.
And Seafried be your builder?
No.
Oh.
It's PSI.
Because they built right down
yeah.
the street, a couple of facilities.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so they have a development across the street.
Yeah.
So we're, originally, I think Seafried wanted that property, or it was Northern Builders, I forget which one. But at that time, we didn't realize how fast we were going to grow. Our growth
fine.
in 2023. So anyway, we just decided to buy we own the entire 27.4 acres, and we're developing it through PSI.
No, you're said negotiate with Seafried, and we have,
Oh yeah, I guess.
okay.
I didn't take that out of my presentation I was copying.
Yeah. But the point of
Good
sale would
catch.
be in Monee,
No,
correct?
I understand your confusion, that's my bad.
Point of sale's in Monee.
It is, 100%.
And would the board get an idea what the sales could be in a year or so?
So if we continue to make the same amount of machinery that we are making, it's about 17% of the total revenue. So it's in that $60 million in revenue range, just for the production of the material handling that'll be sold
Okay.
out of here.
Thank you.
Yep. Sorry for the cut and paste.
Sir, you said 3 trucks a week would be going out, roughly?
So on average, yeah, that's what. So that would be, if it's domestic, it'll likely be going on a flatbed.
Mm-hmm.
There is a chance it could go in a container to rail if it's going out to California, whatever's
Understood.
cost effective. If it's going out globally, then yes, it'll be in a closed-top container.
How much material, how many trucks would be coming in each week?
So daily is just typical FedEx and UPS deliveries. We would be receiving steel deliveries.
That's what
on
I,
flatbeds,
material, yeah.
Maybe twice a week, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the hours for truck deliveries would be within the daylight hours? and
Normal business hours, yeah.
and none of them would be hanging out over there running
they'll-
at night or anything like that?
So all the material is going to be stored inside, and they'll be unloaded with an overhead crane. We have 12 and 15 ton
Oh,
overhead
understood,
cranes
yeah.
in there. Just unloaded them, put them on the ground. It'll all be inside.
I've been in and out of Sugar Steel and U.S. Steel and ArcelorMittal, which is now Nippon. I've been in and out of a bunch of them. But I just wanted to make sure there wouldn't be any lines of trucks lined up or waiting overnight or anything like that, because that's the reason part of the reason why the other one wasn't allowed in there in that property, so.
Yeah. So it'll all be a normal business hours that we're receiving. Yeah, is it possible that we run machinery in the
Oh,
in
yeah.
night shifts, but not unloading? And then the entire property is getting developed with concrete, so.
Besides that, the machinery's inside anyway, it wouldn't be something that you'd
It's
be
inside,
really
it's an
doing
insulated
outside too
panel
much
building.
other than unloading or something like that. Thank you.
Excuse me, Ben, could you, just one question that I know it's come up in the past is when the semis are pulling out, how you guys have addressed it in your design for the vehicles, whether they're pulling out, you've created a lane to give them extra wide turn.
We have, so we have a main entrance. I can actually go back to the property. Maybe. Property layout. So in the middle here, we have the main employee entrance. We would like all of our employees to park over here, and we want the same point of entrance. We like the community feel of, doesn't matter if you're in the warehouse or the office, everyone meets and eats in the same spot. In the south part of the property, this is the access to the back of the warehouse. So this is actually way more exaggerated than you actually see here right now, and part of it's by design and part of it's by the restraints of the property, because we have ComEd poles that are kind of in the way of where we originally thought we'd put the driveway. So that has created actually a nice lane. The majority, if not 100% of any truck traffic should be coming from Manhattan Monee Road. So there's no reason for anybody to come through the other way and make that tight turn. Everything's coming straight in, and there's a nice easy turn for the trucks.
Good. Okay, any more questions? So with that, I want to say, Ben, thank you. I know you guys had an opportunity to leave as you reached the crossroad, so to speak. You had an opportunity to leave and go back to the Netherlands and change your headquarters and pick another place.
Mm-hmm.
But you decided to stay here and give us a chance. And we appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate all the local help. You guys have been great, and we're looking forward to growing with the community.
This is the only one of these in the United States currently.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for picking Monee as your home.
Yeah, all the production growth will be here. That's everything else is just remote support for our customer service.
So I would be looking for a motion to approve Attorney Kraszewski and I to proceed with redevelopment agreement negotiations with Wortman Steel.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Last thing I'd like to say is I think this is going to give hands-on work a little to do again, and I love that.
Thank you. And the last item under my report is professional service agreement with Fireman's Park Phase 2 improvements. The village has recently received Farnsworth Group's Fireman Park Phase 2 proposal to provide landscape architectural and engineering design. Also included is bidding and construction administration services. The proposal has been prepared to match the scope of the work that needs to be completed for the overall park plan as first proposed by Farnsworth Group in 2021. The scope of work includes a basketball court, picnic shelter, tennis pickleball court, multi-use trail, fitness stations, bago, spray park, and shade structures, parking lot with lighting, accessible sidewalk connections, and utility improvements to support the above amenities. Farnsworth Group proposes to provide these services for a fixed fee of $199,800.00. Board action request is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the professional service agreement with Farnsworth Group in the amount of $199,800.00.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. End of my report.
Thank you. Moving on to the officials' reports. Public Works, Trustee Horn.
The snow, which is currently falling right now, and I'm sure we have some trucks out there right now. We do. Yeah. So our DPW, thank you to them that are salting and plowing, and I'm assuming they'll be out there until the snow stops. Thank you. Get your cars off the streets, please, so we can get the snow, shovel that, or plow that snow. We also had a couple ice storms recently. We had one on February 5 and 6, and we had another one on February 7 and 8 overnight. So both of those, they were pre-salting, and there wasn't really any plowing on those, just pre-salting. So they've been out, and they're always on top of those things. So thank you, DPW. Speaking of DPW, the facility continues to progress. The walls are framed. There's doing electrical and communication wiring and drywall. Estimated completion date for the building is June of '25. So that's coming up. That'll be soon. You've noticed our light pole project on Egyptian Trail and Monee Manhattan Road. And we have the larger poles have been delivered, and they've been getting them installed. All but 2 of the poles should be up and operational by the end of the week. The last 2 poles will be reusing existing foundations and will require additional time to complete, but should be complete by mid-March. And then lastly, the Industrial Drive reconstruction project. Iroquois Paving is set to resume construction on Monday, the 17th. West end of Industrial Drive, west of Whiting Way, will be closed to through traffic, as will the south end of Cleveland. Local traffic to businesses you'll have access to them during the closure. That's the end of my report.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Parks and Recreation, Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. For the Parks and Rec report tonight, officially as of Monday, the Parks and Rec staff have moved into their offices here in this building. So that's why the naming of the old Village Hall to the Parks and Recreation Administration Building. And today was supposed to be the next senior luncheon, and for weather reasons, they had moved it, so it has been rescheduled for next Wednesday. So if you wanted to, participate and still go to the senior luncheon this week, you can still sign up for next Wednesday. And that will be held at the Fireman's Park building. The next senior luncheon will be on March 12th. February 15th, coming up this weekend, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the University Park Town Center is the next Black Success and Empowerment Expo. And sorry that the vendors are closed, but please attend from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on that day. And then next week, February 22nd, from 1 to 2:30 p.m. here at Fireman's Park is a soul food celebration in honor of Black History Month. Again, please attend from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at the Fireman's Park building. And as an aside, too, the next Monee Women's Club meeting is on February 25th, and that will be held at the Monee Heritage Center next door. And then for Save the date for our next vendor fair is on April 26th, and the second annual charity tea, Mrs. First Charity Tea, will be on June 7th. End of report.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Finance, Trustee Rakes.
Thank you, Mayor. Very short report tonight. We had a meeting on our water bills, and the mayor, Ruben, and Daryl have been working really hard for the best possible outcomes for our residents. I do believe our next meeting, that should be buttoned up. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Economic Development, Trustee Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Be on the lookout for a short video highlighting some of our local businesses, soon to be released. Economic Development Director Bill Barnes is working hard behind the scenes in acquiring new businesses and commercial development to the village. And as always, I'm keeping it short this week. Shop Monee when available. End of report, Mayor.
Thank you. Building Services, trustee Henson.
Shorter than economic development. No report this week.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Public Safety, trustee Udris.
Thank you, Mayor. For our Emergency Management Agency, on January 11th, they provided mutual aid to the Will County EMA for traffic control at 25967 Joliet Road. Monee EMA assisted with 4 traffic units and 6 personnel for about 2 hours. On February 6th, Monee EMA was requested to assist Will County Sheriff's Police and Illinois Search and Rescue for a missing person at 1177 Richton Road in Creed Township. EMA assisted with 3 vehicles and 4 personnel for 5 hours. On February 7th, EMA responded to BP on Manhattan-Monee Road to assist with traffic control due to an accident. They responded with 1 unit for approximately 20 minutes. And finally, also on February 7th, EMA assisted with the grand opening of our food pantry in town. They provided a traffic unit for an hour to make sure that traffic and parking were safe and orderly and everybody was able to enjoy the event. Moving on to our police department, area chiefs recently met with SWARM, which is our risk management service, to debrief latest trends, insurance costs, and minimizing liabilities, which have become a serious concern throughout the metro area, especially with police pursuits and police-involved shootings increasing at an alarming rate over the last few years. Virtual reality training has enhanced the shooting scenario training, which will hopefully benefit affected agencies in the future with future insurance ratings. We're also now exploring advanced driver training and the cost and versus risk assessment through SWARM to provide that service and training. And finally, it's that time of year again for our police department. Saturday, March 1st, is our polar plunge. It's going to be out at Lake Mantino. So if you are on Facebook, you can go to the police department's Facebook page, and a lot of the officers that are partaking in that have pages out there that you can go and donate to help for the cause. And so the more money we raise, it's just a fantastic organization. So we hope everybody reaches out and helps. And lastly, again, as I say, if you see our officers out on the street, you see our guys from EMA, even Public Works, give them a wave, thank them for what they're doing, especially in this weather. They could be home staying warm, and they're out there making sure we're safe. So, end of report.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I got 6 items for the board's consideration. The first item, if the board recalls, last board meeting, we approved the payout to Eat the Bone Restaurant for $70,668. Payment has been made to Mr. Terrell. This ordinance tonight is authorizing the mayor to execute the amendment to redevelopment agreement with Eat the Bone LLC for the payment of $70,668.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
2070.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item, if the board recalls, last board meeting, there was 1 bid for property in the town center. This is 2 acres, and it's from Quad Hospitality LLC. Given the fact there were no other bids on the property, if the board recalls, they want to construct a hotel at that site. If the board deems appropriate, you can accept the bid, and then a final contract will be submitted to the board for their review and approval.
I have a question. Was this,
We need a motion first, right? I'll make the
Sorry.
motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Now go.
sorry.
Thank you.
Question is, I remember talking about it. It was the hotel along with the other property that they would potentially,
Right now, trustee Rakes, I think they went down from 3 acres to 2 acres.
so that was my question.
Yep.
So that other part's removed.
I believe so.
Thank you.
And I guess, following up to our presentation, would this be a 2 or a 3-star hotel?
So this is, it's no secret, so it's Wood Spring Suites Hotel. I don't know if it's a 3 or a 4, probably not a 4. It is an extended stay hotel. The developer said it would be 4 stories, 90 rooms, and on 2 acres. And their average length of stay, I did check both, is 14 days, whereas others previously are like 1.5 days. So it is a different market. I mean, to follow up with Mr. Morel said, they bring in a lot of people in from out of state, out of country for training. His dad, when we started talking about it, he said, we need a good extended stay hotel here. So. What?
Dollar amount.
Oh, dollar amount? Oh, as far as what they're spending?
Project.
From what my research is to be about $9 million investment. It's average about 100,000. I think somebody asked about if it's easier to tear down, or it's about $100,000 a room. So 90 rooms, about $9 million.
4 stories.
Right. And it is just to clarify, so it won't obstruct Tractor Supply because it's across the road in Town Center Way coming off of Manhattan Monee Road. Sorry, I don't have the drawing, but you've seen it. So it will run perpendicular to the road coming in, and it'll be set back off of Manhattan Monee Road. So it won't obstruct that.
So it would be that other space, not the place for the restaurant.
Correct.
Thank you.
And I'm all in favor of this, but I think we need to have a discussion whether 4 stories is too high. There's nothing else in town that's that high. But that's for another day.
Okay. Trustee Horn, I was just informed that we have an ordinance 50 feet is the limit.
One floor is approximately 10
Yeah, 10
feet,
feet.
so they'll be under, so the fire apparatus will be able to handle that, 4 stories. Get our monies from the fire truck.
We have a motion in a second.
Any other discussion?
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The next 4 items are for properties that I believe were talked about during executive session. It is listed on the agenda. We do have a, thank you, Mr. Brown.
Sure.
And here we go.
He answers to Mr. Brown now.
We do have executed contracts from the seller on each property. They do have some expedited dates for closing. They would like to close all of them by the end of this month. But maybe the first one would be ordinance approving the purchase of property located at 5626 Monee, Manhattan, not to exceed $205,000. Is
Correct. Yeah. So 205.
205.
Right.
I'll make that motion.
I think we're okay.
Second.
All right.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The next piece of property is at 5621 Gale Street. This is obviously a vacant lot, not to exceed $40,000. Once again, we do have a signed contract from the seller. They're asking for a very quick closing. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Abstain.
Trustee Henson?
No.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
This ordinance number will be 2072, but if I can go back to J3, and we'll give that one 2071.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is the property at 5637 Gale Street. This property, contract price is $205,000. Once again, the seller has signed the contract. They asked for a closing by the end of this month. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
Make that motion.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Abstain.
Trustee Henson?
No.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Just to let the board know, when you sell property or buy property, you need 2/3 vote. So we have it, but
Understood.
okay. Thank you. And the last one is 5629
Excuse
Gale
me,
Street.
1 second.
Pardon me?
Tues-
Oh.
2073.
See, this hearing aid works wonders. That's just it. The last one would be 5629 Gale Street. This property is, purchase price is $152,000. They are asking for a quick closing. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Abstain.
Trustee Henson?
No.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
2074.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Larry. Unfinished business, unfinished business. Do we have,
Oh, yep.
yeah, I don't have that.
If the board, if the board recalls, we received a TIF payout request from Mr. Leader, some other information he has provided. So at this point in time, I don't think, respectfully, I don't think the board's in position to make a decision. A little more complicated, so we'd like to table this for further review.
I make motion to postpone.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Thank you, board. Any new business? Sorry.
I just wanted to let everyone know that I did deliver to some department heads at Culver's. There's a manager by the name of Van Lane, who he's a resident of Monee, and he wanted to do more in the community and try to start off with the village board. So he did give discount cards for Culver's and would like for me to give them to all the trustees, and I've given them to the department heads. So that is courtesy of Van. When you see him, please tell him thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Open to the public, non-agenda items. All right, executive session, item number 15, ILCS 120/2C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee. Item number 2, 5 ILCS 120/2C5, the purchase or sale of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired or sold. The following two PIN numbers will be discussed: 2114174020130000 and 21142106002000. If I can please have a motion to dismiss regular session.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
8:10.
May I have a motion to reopen regular session?
Make that
please?
motion.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
9:03.
Possible action to be taken after executive session. Item number 1, possible appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee. Consensus was made to pay out sick time to Sergeant Chad Blake upon retirement. Item number 2, possible purchase or sale of real property. PIN number 211417. Oh, sorry.
First. It's okay. You're good.
Okay.
A motion.
I'll make that motion.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Okay, now moving on to my PINs. Possible purchase or sale of real property. PIN number 2114174020130000. Consensus to not exceed $205,000 for Bill Barnes to negotiate for purchase of said property.
Make that motion.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
The
The
property.
Gale.
No.
Trustee Henson?
No.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
And PIN number 2114211060020000. Consensus to put this piece of property out to bid.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakis?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
9:05 PM.